बाहर जाओ।
नीचे कूद करके हंगामा कर रहे हैं।
The government is ready for discussion.
चर्चा करेंगे, हर तरीके से करेंगे।
हम चर्चा करने के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार हैं। सदन में नियमों से सवाल उठाओ।
The government of the centre is in a huddle because there's likely to be now a discussion when it comes to Operation Sindoor and the top leaders of the government. Series of strategy huddles by the top mantris of the Modi government. Remember that Prime Minister chaired a key meeting with the BJP ministers in the parliament. That happened. There was an appeal that there would be an expectation of unity of all parliamentarians across the board to have a smooth session. However, after the fireworks, the kind of chaos we saw in the morning, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, now Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and BJP President JP Nadda, who's of course the leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha as well, have been in a huddle. Who else are there? We have the inside scoop. Let me take you through the names. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Manohar Lal Khattar, Nirmala Sitharaman, Shivraj Singh, Kiran Rijiju, Jai Shankar also are attending this meeting. So whether Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, the top leaders, especially the ministers of the Modi government, have been meeting because they want to deliberate further. The opposition is ready. They want to corner the government. One, as Mallikarjun Kharge, the leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, asked, where are the butchers of Pahalgam? And as JP Nadda then clarified and said, all details will be given. But the opposition is prepared. They want to corner the government at the centre on different issues while discussing Operation Sindoor and the Pahalgam attack as well of 22nd April. So that's the big news coming in. So what happened this morning? We saw that there was full-on commotion in the Rajya Sabha over the Air India crash. There was the Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu who gave an elaborate statement. But in the background, there were consistent sloganeering asking, where is the Prime Minister? He needs to be present in the Parliament. But it was in the Lok Sabha that had to be adjourned. Because even when the government leaders, the ministers were speaking, full-on commotion by the opposition in the background. My colleague Piyush Mishra for the latest on that. Piyush, tell us about how the top leaders, the ministers of the government, who are present and what kind of deliberations are on.
Well, these are very important meetings. Those are now going on in Parliament, Pooja, in which the top leaders of the government, were present. What we are now learning is that the leaders like Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah, JP Nadda, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Manohar Lal Khattar, Nirmala Sitharaman, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Kiran Rijiju, and Union Minister for External Affairs, Jai Shankar and Jai Shankar was also present. So it's a very important meeting which is now,
Okay.
It's the second round of meeting which is taking place in Parliament, and the discussions are basically taking place after the BAC has decided to have a proper discussion on Operation Sindoor for at least 16 hours in Lok Sabha. We'll have to wait and watch how the discussions on Operation Sindoor goes on and what kind of questions the opposition is now going to ask from the government.
All right, Piyush and all our colleagues, full team of India Today is on the ground and will be tracking how this Parliament session, very crucial one, after Pahalgam, after Operation Sindoor, will be on. So just in case you missed, here's what happened. Ahead of the session, Prime Minister Modi remarked that the world has witnessed India's growing military might. That was through the success of Operation Sindoor. But inside the House, both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, full-on fireworks, sloganeering, protests as well by the opposition, while the leaders representing the government tried to speak. Here's a report on that.
पहलगाम की क्रूर हत्या, अत्याचार, नरसंहार, पूरी दुनिया चौंक उठी थी। आतंकवादी और आतंकवादी के आके दुनिया का ध्यान उनकी तरफ केंद्रित हुआ था।
A stormy start to the monsoon session of Parliament. Ahead of the proceedings, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed the armed forces for achieving all objectives of Operation Sindoor. The Prime Minister also thanked the opposition for the united pushback against terrorism, praising how the all-party delegations exposed Pakistan's role in promoting terrorism on the world stage.
दल हित छोड़ करके देश हित में ज्यादातर दलों के प्रतिनिधि विश्व भ्रमण किया और एक स्वर से दुनिया के सामने आतंकवादियों का आका पाकिस्तान को बेनकाब करने का एक बहुत सफल अभियान चलाया। राष्ट्र हित में किए गए इस महत्वपूर्ण कार्य के लिए उन सभी सांसदों की सराहना करना चाहता हूं।
However, fireworks went off as soon as Parliament proceedings began, with the opposition demanding a discussion on Operation Sindoor and US President Donald Trump's repeated truce claims, which led to multiple adjournments.
कार्रवाई आज 12 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
Opposition leaders held placards as they sought discussion on the Pahalgam terror attack and Operation Sindoor. A discussion on Operation Sindoor is to take place in Lok Sabha and 16 hours have been allotted for the discussions.
मैं सुनता हूं उनका, मेरा एक ही मिनट सुनिए।
In the Rajya Sabha, a fierce face-off ensued between Leader of Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge and Leader of the House JP Nadda.
पहलगाम हमला 22 अप्रैल को हुआ था। अब तक आतंकवादी पकड़े तो नहीं गए, लेकिन हुआ क्या? एक मिनट लेकिन J&K में कम से कम इंटेलिजेंस इनकी सिक्योरिटी है, उसके बारे में उनका फेल्यूर हुआ, ये उन्होंने ही कहा है। लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर ने कहा है इसमें इंटेलिजेंस फेल्यूर है, ये एक्सेप्ट उन्होंने ही किया। ये हमारी बात नहीं सर, हमारे को इंफॉर्मेशन तो देना चाहिए, हमारे से तो आपने मदद ली।
इस हाउस को और इस हाउस के माध्यम से देश में कहीं यह संदेश नहीं जाना चाहिए कि सरकार पहलगाम और ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पर चर्चा नहीं चाहती। हम चर्चा करेंगे, हर तरीके से करेंगे, और ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के सारी पॉइंट्स को देश और दुनिया के सामने रखा जाएगा। और मैं ये भी बताना चाहता हूं कि आज दिन तक आजादी के बाद इस तरीके का ऑपरेशन नहीं हुआ जो प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में हुआ है।
Rajya Sabha chairperson assured the opposition that a discussion would be held on Operation Sindoor for 9 hours.
The government is ready for discussion. The government is ready for comprehensive discussion. I will meet with the leaders, settle for a discussion, and I will ensure full-fledged discussion.
Leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, accused the government of not permitting him to speak.
मैं लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन हूँ, मेरा हक है, तो मुझे तो कभी बोलना ही नहीं देते हैं। तो ये एक नया अप्रोच है।
रक्षा मंत्री के जवाब से संतुष्ट हो जाएंगे आप लोग? He was not allowed to speak today. He should be allowed to speak. He is the leader of the opposition.
The BJP hit back at the Gandhis, accusing them of misleading the House.
अगर उनको बोलना है तो अपने सदस्यों को बिल से कहें कि बैठ जाएं। मैं निश्चित तौर से राहुल गांधी को भी समझ दूंगा, लेकिन वो तो राहुल गांधी के बोलना है, इसके पहले अगर पूरे सदस्यों को सदन में भेज दे रहे हैं बिल में, इससे साफ है कि वो बोलना नहीं चाहते, वो सदन को बाधित करना चाहते हैं।
The monsoon session of Parliament will end on the 21st of August and 21 sittings spread over 32 days. Bureau Report, India Today.
So stay tuned. It's going to be a 25-hour long, a marathon session when it comes to Operation Sindoor debate in the Parliament, 9-hour-long debate in the Rajya Sabha, and 16-hour-long debate in the lower house of the Parliament, the Lok Sabha. So there is a set decision now. There's going to be full in total 25 hours, 9 for Rajya Sabha, 16 for Lok Sabha, but the Congress is not happy. The Congress is expressing unhappiness because they want more clarity on the dates of Operation Sindoor discussions. And they are claiming that the government is not serious about a debate or a discussion on Operation Sindoor and more. Let's listen in first to what the Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi has to say.
BAC मीटिंग के अंदर जो उल्लेखित एजेंडा होता है, उस एजेंडा में सिर्फ सरकार के अपने जो उनके बिल्स थे, उन्होंने सिर्फ उन बिल्स का ही व्याकरण किया था एजेंडा में। उस एजेंडा से भी ऑपरेशन सिंदूर और पहलगाम में हुई चूक का पूरे तरीके से गायब कर दिया था। पूरी तरीके से विपक्ष को और देश को उन्होंने अंधकार में रखा है। उनको आज स्पष्ट कर देना चाहिए था सदन के अंदर कि वो ये चर्चा किस तारीख पर ये शुरू करेंगे, पर एजेंडा से भी वो गायब।
All right, so we have Maushmi Singh joining us for the latest on that. Piyush Mishra also for the latest on what's unfolding in the parliament. Maushmi, I'll come to you first. Why is the Congress happy? What kind of clarity are they expecting on dates?
So clearly, this is always going to be a tit for tat as far as, demanding a discussion. Who's going to answer that? How many hours is it going to be? Whether it's the Lok Sabha or the Raj Sabha, the opposition is very clear, and the Congress on this count that they want to bring the government on the mat as far as answering tough questions is concerned. Whether it's the security lapse issue or the tirade of U.S. President Donald Trump claiming to broker a ceasefire, or for that matter, the battered foreign policy of the Indian government. And that's one reason that, there has been, once the government has agreed upon a detailed discussion, the question is that what will be the dates? They want to know whether when the discussion is happening, the Prime Minister would be there or not. That is the key question that the Congress is raising, that they want the Prime Minister to be present in the discussion. And also, perhaps the rhetoric was shrill about the Prime Minister answering on the discussion. We'll have to wait and see wait for better clarity on that one.
All right, Maushmi, stay on with me. Piyush Mishra also joining us. Piyush, tell us just about the three takeaways of the kind of session we had. It was supposed to be unity. However, there was only sloganeering and commotion and disruptions.
But yes, there was unity at the side of opposition, where opposition is categorically demanding that, the discussion not only on Operation Sindoor must take place, but also on Pahalgam terror attack should take place. Why, Trump is claiming that he led the mediation between India and Pakistan. On that front, the government should answer. And that's why we are now also seeing a sloganeering taking place in Lok Sabha. On the other side, the government is of the view that it is very much ready to have a discussion. And that's why we saw the BSA meeting also called in, where it was decided that 16 hours long discussion on Operation Sindoor in Lok Sabha to take place, and around 9 hours a discussion in Rajya Sabha.
So are we expecting that this week itself or the next week?
Well, Pooja, what sources are indicating that the discussion on Operation Sindoor will begin next week from Monday onwards, and when the discussion takes place, a lengthy discussion will happen in which leaders from both the sides, from the government side as well as from the opposition side, will be speaking, and the opposition is going to certainly ask a lot of questions from the government on Pahalgam terror attack, on Operation Sindoor, and also the claims that are being made by US President Donald Trump.
All right, Piyush and Maushmi will be tracking all the latest on that. Expect even tomorrow and here on full fireworks, because at least till there the discussion begins, it's going to be sloganeering, charges and more. We have more news coming in. Samajwadi Party has something to say. Let's listen into that. SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav speaks out on Operation Sindoor debate. Akhilesh Yadav is asking the government of the centre need clarity on the Operation Sindoor debate. Akhilesh Yadav says want the Prime Minister to participate in a debate. So remember, Parliament is set for a 25-hour in total marathon debate on Operation Sindoor, likely next week. What is the reason that Akhilesh Yadav is not convinced? Let's listen in, speaking to Piyush Mishra.
सरकार ने कहा ऑपरेशन सिंदूर पर चर्चा होगी, क्या कहेंगे?
कब होगी?
उम्मीद है अगले हफ्ते से हो सकती है।
कब होगी? तो जब तय हो जाएगी तब आप लोगों से बात करेंगे। हाँ, नहीं, जब बहस तय हो जाएगी उस समय हम लोग आपसे बात करेंगे। और क्योंकि समर्थन सभी दलों ने बीजेपी को दिया, सभी सांसद चाहते हैं कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर रहें सदन में, और उसके बाद सबकी बात सुनी जाए, और फिर जो सरकार को जवाब देना वो सरकार जवाब देगी।
चर्चा होती है तो क्या आप उसमें हिस्सा लेंगे?
आप पार्टी हिस्सा लेगी, बिल्कुल, क्यों नहीं हिस्सा लेंगे हम लोग।
सरकार ने
Meanwhile, there is something that did happen in the parliament, and that was about Union Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu briefing the Rajya Sabha. That was with regard to the ongoing investigation into the Air India crash, emphasizing that the investigation is based solely on facts without bias. But he's also assured that the final crash report will contain findings, urging the public to refrain from premature conclusions and speculation. Highlighting India's progress, the minister also noted that for the first time the black box data was decoded domestically. Earlier it was sent abroad too. He criticized the social media narratives, certain Western media reports that suggest that, or in some way directly referring to a pilot error but without evidence, calling for caution and adherence to official findings. The Federation of Indian Pilots has also taken legal action against the American-based media, the Wall Street Journal and Reuters as well, for publishing allegedly unsubstantiated claims about pilot error, simply blaming it on the pilots, not on the aircraft at all or any other finding in the June 12 crash.
He has been successful in decoding the entire data which was available, even if the black was from the outer side, if it was looking damaged also. And once the AIB has achieved decoded the data, which was achieved from two different things. One was the flight data recorder, which has the data numbers, and also the cockpit voice recorder, which has the audio, this thing. So all these things, taking out the facts, the investigation processor runs on three principles, which is to find out what happened, how it happened, and why it happened. And preliminary report, it is called the preliminary report because it can't address all the things and all the questions that we have right now. And what we have done, what the AIB has done, in fact, through the preliminary report is to kind of address what happened. Based on the facts it found out in the CVR, based on the facts it found out from the FDR, and only the facts that it was able to determine were mentioned in the preliminary report. And to come out with the suggestions or to come out with the exact cause of what happened and to come out with the further future action on, it can be the Boeing 787 or the series or the fuel switches and many things which have come under question, or the avionics which you have also mentioned in your question. To have a definitive answer and a definitive future correction measures, we have to look at the final report, sir. And I can say this to the House and through you to the people of this country also, that the AIB has a very definitive, thorough, rule-based process. They are very transparently looking into the process right now, and they are totally unbiased. This also I can say that the AIB is totally unbiased and looking into the facts. Now there can be many questions also. I have seen multiple articles myself. I have seen multiple articles not only by the Indian media but also the Western media trying to promote their own narrative, their own viewpoint, their own kind of consideration. But I have to tell you that the way we are seeing the investigation is through the facts. We want to stand by the truth, not what is happening with the pilots or not what is happening with the Boeing or not what is happening with the Air India or any other stakeholder which is this. We want to stand by the truth. We want to find out what exactly happened, and that is only going to be coming out once the final report has been placed.
माननीय सदस्यगण, 12 जून 2025 को अहमदाबाद से लंदन जा रहे एयर इंडिया विमान अहमदाबाद हवाई अड्डा से उड़ान भरने के तुरंत बाद दुर्घटनाग्रस्त हो गया। इस दुर्घटना में कुल 260 व्यक्तियों की असामयिक मृत्यु हुई, जिसमें विमान में सवार 241 व्यक्ति और 19 अन्य व्यक्ति शामिल है। इस दुर्घटना में गुजरात राज्य के पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री श्री विजय रूपानी जी का भी असामयिक निधन हो गया। ये सभा इस दुर्घटना में मृत व्यक्तियों के प्रति अपनी आत्मिक संवेदना व्यक्त करती है।
So what is this crash investigation focus that has turned so controversial? I'm quoting from what American media had actually put out. It was a blatant reference that the pilots are at fault. For example, the report said that the captain cut off the fuel flow to the engines. The first officer, the younger officer, asks the senior captain about the cutoff. The fuel switch was turned off to cut off seconds after the takeoff. But there's no conclusive data how the switch is turned to cut off, and if you can simply blame the pilots on that based on a certain audio conversation. And that is why the minister, Ram Mohan Naidu, also raked up this issue. If there are some specific, certain mischievous elements who are trying to simply pin it on the Indian pilots. Meanwhile, we'll be tracking more on that development with regard to the crash investigation. Moving on now, it's a big day. Many of you may remember the 2006 serial Mumbai train blasts. It led to the loss of life of about 189 innocent people. It's also called 7/11 Mumbai train bombings. It's been 2 decades since. The 12 men convicted in the case have been acquitted by the Bombay High Court, citing lack of evidence and a failed prosecution, that they failed to prove the case to the merit it deserved. In this report,
July 11th, 2006, a day Mumbai will never forget. 7 bombs, 11 minutes. Mumbai's lifeline, its suburban trains turned into corridors of carnage. The bombs were hidden in pressure cookers triggered on moving trains. Over 180 lives lost, hundreds injured in one of India's deadliest terror attacks. And now, nearly 2 decades later, a stunning twist. The Bombay High Court acquits all the 12 convicted by a lower court in the 7/11 train blasts case. A special bench of Justices Anil Kilor and Shyam Chandak observed that the prosecution utterly failed to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. The court said it's hard to believe the accused committed the crime. The court did not find the statement by witnesses to be reliable. The court has ordered the release of all, including the 5 who were on death row. One suspect had died in prison during the pandemic.
कन्फेशन इनवॉलंटरी था, टॉर्चर था, विटनेसेस जो थे वो 100 दिन बाद आए एंड रिलायबल नहीं थे। रिकवरी डिस्कवरी जो है वो कायदे के हिसाब से नहीं की गई। 19 साल बाद इस केस का फैसला हाई कोर्ट से आया। ट्रायल कोर्ट ने इसमें से 5 लोगों को डेथ सेंटेंस दिया था, फांसी की सजा, बाकी 7 लोगों को उम्र कैद दिया था, एक एक्विटल हुआ था। कस्टडी में 12 लोग थे, 12 में से एक डेथ सेंटेंस वाला कमाल अंसारी की डेथ हो गई थी, तो 11 लोग थे। आज इन सब को कोर्ट ने एक्विट कर।
ओरिजिनल लोग जब नहीं मिले।
India Today spoke with Mohammad Sajid Ansari, acquitted after 19 years. Ansari said he was framed by the anti-terrorism squad.
इंसाफ को सामने लाया। देखिए ये पूरा केस ही फेक है, शुरू से आखिर तक। अब इनको कुछ लोग चाहिए थे, मैं नहीं मिलता, किसी और को ये लोग बकरा बना देते, लेकिन वो होना था। अब यहाँ इत्तेफाक किया था कि मेरे ऊपर 2 केसेस थे पुराने और मैं इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इंजीनियर था। इस वजह से मुझसे अच्छा कोई इनको मिला ही नहीं। इसके लिए मेरे खुद बहनों ही हैं, अब्दुल वाहिद भाई, वो भी हाँ जो एक्विट हो चुके हैं वो ट्रायल कोर्ट से 2015 के अंदर, तो उनके ऊपर भी 1-2 केसेस इस तरह के थे।
आपको पहले से विश्वास था कि जो केस है वो झूठा है?
यस, पहले से विश्वास था हमको कि ये केस झूठा बनाया गया है, टॉर्चर करके लिया गया है। जो भी इनसे कन्फेशन लिया गया वो सब सारा टॉर्चर करके लिया गया है। और हमको यकीन था इंशाल्लाह यानी कोर्ट हमारे हक में फैसला करेगी।
पाकिस्तानियों के साथ इनका उठना बैठना था और वो इस लास्ट के अंदर उनका रोल नहीं था, लेकिन वो मीटिंग अटेंड करते थे, जबकि ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं था। उसको सिर्फ इम्प्लीकेट किया गया और हमारे कहने पे तू ये पेपर पे साइन नहीं करेगा तो तेरी फैमिली को अरेस्ट करेंगे, तेरी वाइफ को लेकर आएंगे, तेरे भाइयों को लाएंगे, तेरे भाई को, तेरे मम्मी पापा को लाएंगे। ऐसे फैमिली के नाम पे उसको धमकाया गया।
Convicted in 2015, acquitted in 2025. Many lives overturned and an investigation under the scanner. And the question that remains unanswered, who was behind the 7/11 Mumbai train blasts?
19 years after the Mumbai train blast, there are questions that still stare at the investigators. Who really was behind this entire terror attack? Who was the mastermind? Why was this terror attack done? All these questions remain unanswered even after 19 years, because those who had been arrested by the anti-terrorism squad have been acquitted by the Bombay High Court. With cameraman Nitin Varne in Mumbai, Vidya for India Today.
My colleague Mustafa Sheikh joins me for the latest on that. Mustafa, what are the reasoning that have come in with regard to the acquittal, and what are even victims' families, if they've spoken out since then, have to say? What are those who've been acquitted saying? What is the sentiment on the ground? Because Mumbai clearly remembers 2006. Mustafa, if you can hear me. All right, we'll go across to my colleague in just a short while as well. So what you heard were those who've been acquitted said how their lives have been lost over the past few decades, while the ones who have lost their loved ones in 2006 continue to ask, then who is the one behind these Mumbai train terror blasts, and why have they not been convicted in time and facing punishment? Remember, for those families, there is no closure yet from 2006 to now. I want to take you through the High Court observations. Number one observation was clearly pinpointing how the prosecution, despite arrests and convictions, the prosecution failed to prove the case, eventually leading to acquittal. Observation number two, the evidence that was provided wasn't conclusive enough. It wasn't credible enough as should have been for the final judgment. High Court also observed that it's hard to believe that these accused who've been mentioned committed the crime of the serial blasts. And that's because there's no direct link that could be established by the prosecution between those who were arrested and the blasts that took place. And therefore, the final observation that was made by the High Court, death and life sentences were quashed. Punishing actual perpetrator is the key, is what the High Court had said. And then adding, false justice misleads the public. Our legal editor Nalini Sharma joins me for the latest on that. Nalini, of course, prosecution has a huge role to play, especially in convictions like this. What are you picking up about how and why the court made these observations? Because I also then tend to remember the victims who lost their loved ones as much. For them also, there's no closure coming in right now.
Along with that, Pooja, it's really startling the fact that where the trial court had given death penalty, something as serious as death penalty, which is given only in the rarest of rare cases, to these accused, the High Court has overturned it and not just reduced the sentence, has acquitted them altogether. So it's a huge discrepancy between the decision of the trial court and the High Court, which is why there is a hierarchy of courts that exists in India. But the legality behind this, Pooja, basically is that whenever a death penalty matter comes to the High Court, it is a job of the High Court to scrutinize it as if there is no earlier judgment, which means that all of the evidence, all of the testimonies, all of the statement, the entire prosecution case is looked at by the High Court from a fresh lens, because you have to understand that it is a matter of life or death for these accused, which is essentially why the Bombay High Court had gone into all of these details, also possibly why it's taken almost 2 decades for this entire case to reach its conclusion. But after that, the High Court has found that the prosecution has not done a fair job of proving the guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Beyond reasonable doubt are the key words over here, Pooja, because for anybody to be convicted for any crime, forget death penalty, for any crime and any sentence, the prosecution has to prove their guilt beyond reasonable doubt, which the prosecution has not been able to do in this case. Just one small example of how the prosecution failed, Pooja. For example, one of the points that the High Court has taken up is the test identification parade of these accused persons that had happened. And that entire test identification parade was monitored by an officer who was not authorized only to carry out these test identification parades. So these kind of procedural formalities have not been followed by the prosecution properly, which is essentially why this acquittal has now been granted. The judgment runs into almost 700 pages. We're still going into the details of it, but there is no doubt about the fact that the High Court has clearly said that the prosecution has failed in its job to prove the guilt of the accused. The evidence in this case is not reliable on the basis of the case that the prosecution has built, and what remains to be seen now is whether or not this judgment is now going to be challenged by the prosecution or not.
Okay, of course there are more legal approaches and options that can be availed, but this is terrible, because this is, remember, not just about justice, it's about justice in time and justice that should be correct. Nalini, thank you very much for this detailed perspective on what exactly happened. Mustafa continues to be with us. Mustafa, go ahead. What is the sentiment on the ground from both sides in Mumbai as the city clearly remembers the serial blasts?
Well, Pooja, Nalini was pointing out technical issues, all the legal judicial issues, but yes, as 189 lives were lost in this train blast. There were more than 200 people who were injured in this life. Maybe some people's life completely changed. Even why some people, everybody who traveled in the local train of Mumbai, it has somewhere in the back of their mind that something like this has happened, and hope it doesn't happen next time. But for accused in this case to go scot-free or to be acquitted is it's possible that there was some problems or many problems in the prosecution's case, or the evidence was weak. But who were the real accused who did these blasts, and what was no, what was who were they from?
Exactly.
How did it was planned? So everything which has fallen flat. See, if for example 5 of the 12 accused were given death sentences, and if it would have been commuted and they would have been given life imprisonment sentence, that was still understandable. That the case has somewhere. But this entire case has been thrown out by the High Court, and it was sustained by the special MCOCA court and in 2015. So and there is this train blast, there is Malegaon blast. So these are things very critical unlawful issues which have happened in Maharashtra, and it must be the prosecution must be something like that. But on the sentiment of the ground would be that if we are asking,
one
for
can only think about 189 lives and the lives here as well, the ones who were accused, even convicted. However, by the time it reached the High Court said the evidence is not strong, is not credible enough. And of course, justice needs to be correctly done in such sensitive cases, and raise a lot of question on how precisely the prosecution worked in this case. Thank you very much, Mustafa and Nalini, for the latest. Big news coming in. This is with regard to the Justice Yashwant Verma impeachment case. NDA MPs are being asked to sign for impeachment motion against Justice Verma in the Rajya Sabha, which means already, remember, there have been over 100 signatures that have been obtained, and this is across the board. But one by one, the upper house members of parliament are reaching Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's room and are signing as we speak. This is a big Inside India Today scoop that we are bringing to you right now. Signatures of members of parliament are being taken as we speak. Is the clock ticking for Justice Yashwant Verma? Remember, he's been rejecting all the charges against him. He's saying that there's definitely been a conspiracy against him. He has no knowledge of this cupboard full of cash, or basically half-burnt piles of cash that was eventually found and recovered by the firefighters. However, let's go across to Piyush Mishra for the latest on that. Piyush, this is interesting. So are we expecting through the evening there are going to be members of parliament queuing up right there at Defence Minister's room? And why do they believe that they need to sign on the removal of this judge?
Well, Pooja, what we are now learning is that all MPs have now been called at the office of Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, and they have been asked to sign that particular letter which will be submitted to the Rajya Sabha chairperson Jagdeep Dhankar. Remember that a letter has already been signed by the Lok Sabha MPs and it has already been submitted to the Lok Sabha speaker. But in Rajya Sabha also the government has to submit, and that's why we are now seeing all BJP MPs queuing up at the office of Rajnath Singh, and one by one they all are signing their letter, because the government is of the view that after the committee which has submitted its report to the Supreme Court has found some sort of evidence against Justice Verma, and it's important to bring impeachment motion, and that's why the process for that is now being followed. Most likely, after this entire letter is submitted or entire process is followed, the committee will be formed by Speaker, and then the further processes will be followed as far as this entire motion is concerned.
All right, Piyush, keep tracking all the latest on that. We have some big news coming in. Let's take a look at the breaking news coming in from Bangladesh. A terrible tragedy has taken place in Bangladesh. A Chinese-made jet, a trainer jet that crashed, but worse, crashed into what appears to be a school, which means many minors have died too. The death toll is rising right now in Dhaka. 19 people confirmed dead after this jet crashed into a school in Bangladesh, which means many of them were students, and sadly, there have been, as we can see, some of the injured, especially in school uniform, can be seen rushed to hospitals. 48 at least have been injured. 6 hospitals across Dhaka are on high alert right now where they are being treated. Look at the images on your screen. Images from Dhaka where this trainer jet has crashed. A China-made trainer jet crashed, immediately erupted into flames. The National Mourning Day has been also announced. What a terrible tragedy, especially for the parents of these innocent children. I have with me joining for the latest on that Anupam Mishra from Kolkata. Anupam, what exactly happened? And looks like the death toll is rising.
Exactly, we are getting reports of death toll rising, and so far 19 people are dead and more than 100 people are injured so far, and they are admitted in 7 hospitals in Dhaka and around. These are specifically burn injuries, and according to the latest update, several people are critically injured and they are admitted in hospital. And what happened is still unclear. According to the sources, the plane which took off from Bangabandhu Airport at around 1:06 had crashed around 1:18. So it took around 12 minutes and it crashed into the school building. But exactly what happened, it is not clear. And what we are gathering information is that it was the solo sortie of the squadron leader Tawqeed, who was riding, who was in the plane, and it crashed at around 1:18.
But also the loss of life that's coming in here because of the crash of innocent children in a school where the jet crashed. We'll be tracking developments, and our prayers and sympathies with the family members who lost them. The illegal betting case is closing on now in the Southern Stars in the ED net. We are told top names here from the Southern film industry, Rana Daggubati, Vijay Deverakonda, have been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. Remember the illegal betting case? And some of these film stars are known to be promoting it. We are told that even Prakash Raj and Lakshmi Manchu have also got an ED notice. Some of these stars, and I must tell you, the 4 names that I've read are the top names when it comes to the Southern film industry, especially in the younger brigade. South stars have been asked to appear on 13th of August. The charge against them is that they have been accused of promoting illegal betting apps, that they knew the consequence of it, that it's not allowed. We'll try and understand more on this. My colleague Munish Pandey joins us for the latest on that. Munish, good evening. Why have these top names been summoned by the ED? Did they not know at all about the consequence of it? And importantly, tell us about this illegal betting scam allegation.
Well, Pooja, this is a major development as far as illegal betting scam is concerned. And remember, the Enforcement Directorate recently lodged a case against several celebrities, including these top 4 celebrities which have been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. Now, as far as the case details are concerned, Pooja, what we have been given to understand is that there are several online betting scams which the Enforcement Directorate is probing. And during the initial probe, the ED got to know that several southern celebrities have participated in promoting these illegal betting scams. And not only these celebrities, but also some of the influencers are under scanner of the Enforcement Directorate. And after preliminary investigation, the Enforcement Directorate has lodged a case against these celebrities. Also, Pooja, there is a suspicion that the proceeds of crime generated by the crime accused in the case went to these celebrities in the garb of...
so this is as much about the proceeds of crime that these actors, these stars could have enjoyed, but they've been summoned for now. So we'll be waiting for statements from their teams as well. But these are big names from the Southern film industry, and therefore perhaps a big issue of who and why should you be promoting this illegal betting